Hey guys, Gwads here. Welcome to the guide that teaches you how to beat an Unholy or Frost Decay in a duel. First off, we'll go over talents and glyphs. Talents. The talents is pretty standard, just like how you would spec in arenas, but instead of Chillblains, you would take Asphyxiate. The reason behind this is, if you have a long drawn out duel, which is usually what happens if both of you are at a decently high level of gameplay, Asphyxiate would always be Chillblains, since DK have their burst potential to kill somebody within that 5-second stun. So once one guy is out of trinkets, and you stun him, he is pretty much dead. Now let's look into glyphs. Glyph of Regenerative Magic. So you could AMS more often, and usually Death Knights won't break your AMS, so it's almost like a flat 50% damage cooldown reduction based off the amount of damage absorbed remaining, and since they don't hit into it, they don't break it, they don't want to give you that sweet runic power, it's like a flat 50% cooldown reduction. Glyph of Empowerment is the second glyph that you would want to take. Empowerment that heals can change the duel completely. Having that on-demand heal is just too good to let go. Glyph of Icebound Fortitude. Now this is like the elephant in the room. Why would you use this glyph? Who would choose this glyph? In the Death Knight versus Death Knight situation, stuns plays a major factor on the duel. By not having a trinket for a stun, or not being able to trinket a stun, will drastically change the outcome. Let's say you're at 10%, your opponent's at 70%, but if you can put him in a 5-second stun, he'll be dead by the time the stuns end. So with Glyph of Icebound Fortitude, now you can trinket 4 stuns in a row, instead of the normal 3 stun without the glyph in a duel. Now we have went over the spec and talents, let's get into gear. Gear, I use this arena gear. People argue that Versa gear is better for dueling. I think it is, but come on guys, why just get a set of gear and never do arena? Like, everybody pretty much have mastery gear, and that's why I'm gonna do this guide in mastery gear. Abilities. In a DK versus DK scenario, you rarely use this Howling Blast and Obliterate. Instead, you want to spend your runes on Death Siphon and Death Strike. You generally only use Howling Blast to apply dots and Obliterate on your opener or when you're trying to get the kill. So if you're not trying to reapply dots, you're not opening, you're not going for the kill, do not use Howling Blast and Obliterate. Always save your runes for heals. Plague Leech is also a really strong ability. It gives you 2 Death Siphon, which is 2 Death Rune. You can use it on Death Siphon, and since what I just said, you don't really use Howling Blast with Obliterate, so it's pretty much 1 Plague Leech equals to, on average, a 70k heal. So what's a good time to use Plague Leech? In my opinion, you want to use Plague Leech right before you grip. So Plague Leech the dot off, grip your target to you, and that grip will reapply the dots without you spending a rune to get the dots up again. Next up would be Asphyxiate. Try to stun on cooldown. Use this ability on cooldown if possible, but keep in mind you don't want to stun into your opponent's anti-magic shell. So every time you stun, it's most likely they're gonna trinket, so if you do it on cooldown, it will be quicker for them to use up all their trinket, so enabling them to sit one of your full stun where you try to go for the kill. And then we will talk about Soul Reaper. Soul Reaper in this matchup is kind of a wild card. If you manage to make it tick, you have a massive lead over the DK you're dueling with. But if it don't tick, you're 1 heal behind the other DK. So think carefully before you use Soul Reaper. Now, a lovely Pillar of Frost is your burst. Make sure you maximize damage while using this ability, but even more importantly, make sure you top yourself off healing wise before this ability ends. And now we will go to Anti-Magic Shell. Anti-magic shell is extremely important for Death Knight versus Death Knight dueling. First, try not to AMS when you can top yourself soon after. Let's say you're at 30%, but your pillar is coming up in 2 seconds. Should I AMS? The answer is no, if you can survive. But if there's a Soul Reaper on you that's about to tick, then yes, because you'll die. But if you can survive that, by not using the AMS and using the pillar to heal yourself to full health straight after that, is such an advantage because you will now have an AMS to use during his burst to mitigate the damage that he's going to do to you. And also, here's a tip. Try to AMS right before he's going to stun you. If he is doing everything right, he will try to asphyxiate on cooldown, just as you're trying to asphyxiate on cooldown. So if you AMS right before you asphyxiate, you have a choice to make. Asphyxiate into the AMS, which you can just sit it, you don't need to trinket it, you'll be fine. Or he can wait until your AMS fall off and then asphyxiate, which delays his asphyxiate, which end up making you have more trinkets than him in the end. So yes, that's all of the strategies that I have for you guys. There's no better way at learning how to duel by watching someone else duel. So I recorded some clips of Death Knight versus Death Knight and how they work. You will be able to see the ability I use on screen. So pay attention to that if you can. And yes, I'll see you at the end of the video. Peace.
Sign. I've been looking for a way out, running around with my head down, my pride in the ground. They told me I was only burden bound. Now I walk the line on the higher ground, my pride in the clouds, while they keep running in circles.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next in the comments below. Until next time, peace.